being part of a group that for people with disabilities and kids with disabilities, that's, I believe, one of the greatest gifts that we can give kids is a sense of belonging and inclusion.
Hi, it's Steph, and that was the voice of Harry Horgan. He's the founder of Shake a Leg Miami, where the mission is to utilize the marine environment to improve the health, education, and independence of children and adults with physical, developmental, and economic challenges in an inclusive community setting. Shake a Leg Miami builds that inclusive community around water sports, the environment, and personal fulfillment. With their unique lineup of adaptive water sports, they offer adults and children with physical and intellectual disabilities ways to show who they really are. Harry loves sailing, loves the water, and loves possibility for himself and for others. I met Harry more than 10 years ago when I produced a story about Shake a Leg Miami for NBC Nightly News. Along with correspondent Mike Taibbi, also an avid sailor like Harry, we spent the day getting to know Harry, following a couple of siblings experiencing summer camp together and understanding the magical properties of water and nature and community. I can't wait for you to hear Harry's personal story of strength, how he started Shake a Leg Miami 30 years ago, how the pandemic has impacted him, what smiles on the faces of the Shake a Leg community mean to him, and his desire to create an inclusive society that sparkles with possibility. This is the Another Door Opens podcast, and I'm your host, Stephanie Himango. Here is Harry Horgan. Can you tell me what is Shake a Leg Miami for people who are not familiar with it?
Shake a Leg Miami, we're a nonprofit organization with a mission of using the water to help people improve their health, independence, and quality of life.
So let's go back to where the idea originated and what your original incentive was. I know that your mission is to get people on the water and to heal people in that way, but how did it begin for you personally? I think any endeavor with such purpose behind it has an origin story, and I know yours certainly does.
It was back in 1980. I had fallen out of the truck and broke my back, and life changed. I had just graduated from Providence College, and now I'm a paraplegic. And so life was now in flux. What am I going to do? How am I going to overcome? And fortunately, I had a family that was very supportive and encouraged me to let's move on and we'll get through this. And so we were able to get the best care. And I was down in NYU for my initial rehab and ended up out in Colorado learning to walk in leg braces. And it was there that I had a goal of leaving walking in leg braces and skiing were my two goals. And unfortunately, the goal of walking in leg braces was not being realized. So I was really feeling down, a bit depressed. And the second goal was to go skiing. And fortunately, I was able to do that. And that almost didn't happen because the night before I was to go skiing, the nurse said, "Hey, Harry, you got a fever. They're not going to let you out."
Mm.
And I said, "Well, I'm going to be leaving. This is my last chance. What can I do?" And she said, "Well, in the morning, just drink a lot of ice water, put a cold compress on your head, and then call the nurse in for the temperature." I did that. Before you knew it, I'm in a van driving up to Winter Park, Colorado. And that really was an epiphany for me in that I arrived there to be greeted by these volunteers with big smiles and the backdrop of the mountains and all this nervousness of how am I going to get up on the chairlift? How am I going to get down? And they were just so supportive and encouraging. It relieved me. And before you know it, now I'm flying down the mountain, forgetting I'm disabled, and went back to the rehab. And I had a whole new outlook on life. I believe that more can happen. And I had read an article about a holistic practitioner down in Albuquerque, New Mexico, a Rolfer and a Feldenkrais practitioner.
Real quick, Rolfing and Feldenkrais. Rolfing is spelled Rolfing, and according to rolf.org, it is this. Named after its founder, Dr. Ida P. Rolf, Rolfing structural integration is a form of bodywork that reorganizes the connective tissues called fascia that permeate the entire body. Rolfing structural integration works on this web-like complex of connective tissues to release, realign, and balance the whole body, thus potentially resolving discomfort, reducing compensations, and alleviating pain. Rolfing SI aims to restore flexibility, revitalize energy, and create more comfort in the body. Harry also mentioned Feldenkrais, spelled Feldenkrais, which is, according to Feldenkrais.com, the Feldenkrais method is based on principles of physics, biomechanics, and an empirical understanding of learning and human development. Moshe Feldenkrais said, "We move according to our perceived image. By expanding your perception and increasing awareness, you will become more aware of your habits and tensions and develop new ways of moving. By increasing sensitivity, the Feldenkrais method assists you to live your life more fully, efficiently, and comfortably." Okay, Harry picks up his story here, which started again in Rhode Island, then led him to Colorado, where he then reached out to a practitioner in New Mexico.
And I called them and I said, "Hey, I'm here in Colorado about to leave. Could I come down and spend time with you?" And they said, "Sure." And I didn't realize what I was getting myself into, but I ended up staying at this Mom and Pop's motel in downtown Albuquerque, and for 6 weeks going through the Rolfing sessions and Feldenkrais sessions. And during that time, I cut my medications in half. They helped me respect myself a little bit more and believe that you can do more. And it was there that I kind of came up with the idea, wouldn't it be great if we could create a program where we could bring people with disabilities together and forward-thinking therapists and sports and help each other find their way. And so I ended up going back to Rhode Island and drew up the plan. And before you know it, we had a program going. We had 8 people in the program. And the whole message was, whatever you want to do, we want to help you to do it. And thus, that's how the name Shake a Leg came out. Get up and do it. Don't wait for someone else to do it for you.
Did you coin that name, or did something happen where those words ended up spoken?
My father and grandfather would always shake a leg. Come on, let's go. Let's get up, get on with it. My cousin Joe and a friend CJ and I were talking about what we can do to help in this spinal cord world. And we came up with an idea of, let's have a fundraiser and let's call it Shake a Leg. You know, Shake a Leg for spinal cord research, Shake a Leg for new possibilities. And we ended up throwing a party, and it was in Newport, Rhode Island. And I think it was even during like America's Cup season or something. So we had 1,000 people showed up or more. It was really quite amazing.
It was on the heels of that fundraiser that Harry was able to create a summer program that was inspired during his time in Colorado and New Mexico. The first one was about 8 or 9 people strong, and they were on their way. You had talked about building a boat. At what point does that come in? How does that happen? And what did that symbolize for you? I know that you were explaining to me that sailing is really integral to living in many parts of New England. And that was something you were already doing before your accident, correct? And it picked up again afterward. Is that right?
Right. When we started Shake a Leg, we invited people to do whatever they wanted to do. Our goal is to make it happen for you. So being in Newport, Rhode Island, everyone wanted to go sailing. And so we were borrowing boats, and we were concerned that we're going to create more disabled people by loading them in and out. And Everett Pearson had seen some of the media coverage of us taking people with disabilities out sailing, and he said, "I'll build the boat if you build the program." And it was, for me personally, it was a turning point in my life, in that, okay, how are we going to create a handicapped sailing program where there really aren't any? And here's a boat builder that said, "I'll build the boat." So it was like a challenge. But what ended up happening, he became the mentor, the guiding light on this whole project. And we were able to create the boat. My role was to get the docks and develop the program. And we launched the boat and program in 1986. And on the same day, the tall ships were coming into Newport. And the Secretary of State was there as part of the dedication. And she said that this is the tallest of the tall ships that we're about to launch here. And really, it was more of a launching of a movement, and a movement where when you get people together, anything can happen. Those with like-minded that have the expertise and skills to make things happen, and those that are looking for a little hope and inspiration, combining the two ends inspires everyone to do more. And the creation of the Freedom Independence sailboat is an example of that happening.
Riding on that boat, was there some similar feeling to when you went down that hill in Colorado for the first time on skis?
Yes, feeling the freedom of being on a boat and steering it is one thing. But I guess for me, seeing others get on the boat and where they were very nervous and, "Oh, I can't do this," and the moms are saying, "Oh, is it going to be safe?" And they come back to the dock with a big smile on their face, and "I want to take lessons. I want to do more." That's really became what fulfilled me more than anything. That, wow, we're doing something that's really making a difference in people's lives.
The name of that ship cannot be accidental.
No, and that was a part of the team, Everett's team, and what are we doing here? And yes, we're building a boat, but our goal is to help people feel free, become more independent, and believe in themselves and go after their dreams.
When you saw those smiles and the reactions and the desire for involvement from the very same faces that had gone out with trepidation, did that fuel you as well? Did that motivate you? And did that also heal you in a way?
Yeah, when you do something for someone else, it comes back and it does fill you, and it filled me. And it also, for me, it gave me the confidence to take on bigger challenges. And so when asked, "Oh, will you set up a program in Miami?" I went into that challenge with confidence and with a lot of experience in setting up